party was already over. Most people had left. No cameras. No spotlight.
And yet, one silent moment, one bouquet of flowers, and one hysterical scream from Zhao Lusi would freeze everyone in place and leave fans around the world emotionally shaken. The evening had unfolded like countless industry dinners before it.
Quiet. Intimate. Almost forgettable. A private gathering. Close colleagues. A work team unwinding after a long schedule.
There was laughter, casual conversations, and the kind of relaxed energy that only appears when no one feels the need to perform. Zhao Lusi looked comfortable, laughing openly, chatting without restraint, fully present in the moment. Nothing about her behavior suggested anticipation.
Nothing hinted at surprise.
Liu Yuning, on the other hand, was unusually calm.
Not distant. Not cold. Just quiet. Some thought she was tired.
Others assumed she was simply listening, letting the night pass naturally.
And that was the brilliance of it.
Because sometimes, the most unforgettable moments are born from absolute normalcy. As the lights began to dim and guests started saying their goodbyes, the atmosphere softened. The kind of ending where everyone assumes the story is already finished. But the story hadn't even begun. Just as the room thinned out and conversations faded into murmurs, Liu Yuning briefly disappeared from sight.
No one noticed. No one cared. And that absence
would become the quiet breath before an emotional storm.
Zhao Lusi was preparing to leave. Still smiling. Still relaxed.
She was mid-conversation, unaware that the emotional gravity of the room was about to shift. Then Liu Yuning returned. In her hands, a bouquet of flowers.
Not extravagant. Not loud. Soft colors. Carefully chosen.
Flowers that didn't scream for attention.
But whispered sincerity. She didn't announce herself. She didn't call out Zhao Lusi's name. She simply walked closer.
And in that quiet approach, something electric passed through the room.
Zhao Lusi turned around.
For a split second, her mind didn't register what she was seeing.
Then realization hit. The flowers were for her. And in that instant, she screamed.
A raw, unfiltered, hysterical scream.
Not fear. Not confusion.
Pure shock and joy colliding at once. She covered her face with both hands, laughing and screaming at the same time, completely losing control of her composure.
The room erupted. Applause. Laughter. Gasps. No one had been ready for that reaction.
Least of all, Liu Yuning herself. Zhao Lusi's scream cut through the room like lightning.
Sharp. Sudden.
Uncontrollable. And in that instant, everyone knew.
This was not acting.
There was no script that could have produced that reaction. No rehearsal that could have prepared her for what she saw when she turned around. Her voice carried pure instinct, the kind that bursts out when the heart reacts faster than the mind can catch up. She laughed and screamed at the same time, overwhelmed by the collision of surprise and joy. Her hands flew to her face, as if she needed to hide from the intensity of her own emotions. That reaction, raw, unfiltered, almost chaotic, became the emotional core of the night. Liu Yuning stood there, momentarily frozen, clearly not expecting such an explosive response. Her cheeks flushed, her smile soft and slightly shy.
She didn't rush forward. She didn't speak. She waited. And that pause mattered.
It gave Zhao Lusi space to breathe, to feel, to process.
It allowed the moment to remain gentle instead of overwhelming.
When Liu Yuning finally extended the bouquet, it was done quietly, respectfully, without words, without spectacle.
The flowers were offered not as a performance, but as a feeling.
Zhao Lusi eventually lowered her hands, eyes bright, still laughing as she accepted them. Her voice trembled as she thanked Liu Yuning repeatedly, her words almost tumbling over one another. The room, which moments earlier had been fading into silence, suddenly felt alive again.
Applause erupted. Laughter followed. But beneath it all was something deeper. A shared understanding that everyone had just witnessed something genuine.
What made this moment resonate wasn't just the surprise. It was the restraint.
This didn't happen under flashing lights.
It didn't happen when attention was at its peak.
It happened when the night was already ending. That choice changed everything.
By waiting until the quietest moment, Liu Yuning ensured the gesture belonged only to the people in that room, and most importantly, to Zhao Lusi herself. There was no pressure to respond a certain way. No expectation to perform gratitude or composure. And that freedom is exactly why Zhao Lusi's reaction was so powerful. Fans later pointed out that her hysterical scream wasn't dramatic. It was honest. The kind of reaction you can't rehearse and can't suppress. It revealed a side of her rarely seen in public, spontaneous, emotionally transparent, deeply human. In an industry where emotions are often curated and controlled, this moment felt like a crack in the surface, allowing something real to shine through. Witnesses described how the atmosphere shifted afterward. Conversations resumed, but softer, warmer, as if the entire room had been gently pulled into the emotional afterglow of that single act. Zhao Lusi was seen glancing down at the bouquet again and again, smiling to herself, then laughing quietly as she replayed her own reaction. When she and Liu Yuning spoke briefly afterward, no one could hear their words, but their body language told a clear story.
Comfort, ease, mutual respect. There was no tension, no awkwardness, just calm, after an emotional wave. As the night finally drew to a close, guests departed one by one. The room returned to stillness. But the emotional weight of what had happened lingered in the air. Zhao Lusi was seen carrying the flowers carefully, almost protectively, as if they held more than petals and stems. Her smile remained long after the surprise had passed, soft, reflective, unforced. Liu Yuning stayed nearby, composed and relaxed, as though she had said everything she needed to say without ever raising her voice. And that's why this moment stayed with people. Not because it was loud, but because it was sincere. In the days that followed, the story spread quickly, not fueled by scandal or speculation, but by emotion. Fans didn't cling to rumors, they clung to the feeling. The feeling that sometimes, the most unforgettable moments are the simplest ones. That attention doesn't need to be dramatic to be meaningful. That a single gesture, done at the right time, can leave a deeper mark than any grand display. This wasn't a headline born from controversy. It was a story born from sincerity. A reminder that even in a world of constant noise, a quiet act of thoughtfulness and an honest, uncontrollable reaction can speak louder than anything else. And perhaps that's why this moment continues to resonate. Because it wasn't trying to be remembered. It simply was.